my name is Sarah and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a What Talk, which is where I review Wattpad books, because though a lot of you think Wattpad is just a place for fan fiction, there is a lot of amazing books on there as well. You just need to know where to find them, and I am trying to be one of those people that promote the most amazing books I can come across. Now, today's book is One Said Book, and I know it's an amazing book because it is actually being published. What you will find on Wattpad is just a preview of the book. I will have links in the description for where you can find it on Amazon. I am not advertised to promote this guy's book or anything like that, but I do believe it's absolutely amazing and you should go out and buy it. It is really good, and I myself am actually going to buy a copy of the book because I thought it was that good and I'd love to have a physical copy. Now, getting into the actual thing, the book is called The Shadow Watch by S.A. Klopfenstein. This book is absolutely phenomenal. Amazing. We follow three characters mainly throughout the story: Tori, Darian and Kale. Each of these characters have a different individual journey they have to overcome, and we learn... Sorry, I just got a message from a friend. As I said, all three of these characters have individual stories throughout the book, and they all come together and are interlinked towards the end, which makes it a very fascinating read. The writing is absolutely phenomenal. Like, literally, I would give it like on par, if not even better than the first Throne of Glass book, and that was published in Amazing. So if this is this guy's book, I can't wait to read more of his writing. Like, the writing is phenomenal. The world development is some of the best world development I've seen in a long time. There's a bit of the world development I got a bit confused about, and if for a future book maybe he would like to do like maybe a bit more about the lore, I'd love to read more. Other than that, you kind of learn what's going on via the characters, which I really like in books like this, where you find out what's happening in the world via the characters, not just getting told a lot of stuff, if that makes sense. My favourite character of the three main that we kind of follow throughout the story is Tori. She is, I'd argue, is the main character of the story. She is a servant girl who, let's just say, something happens to her friend Darian, and she finds out she actually has powers. And because of said powers, she ends up in a lot of sticky situations, which is very interesting. Something I really enjoyed about Tori all the way through is that she wasn't a Mary Sue. She struggled, she had a lot of stuff she had to overcome, she had a lot of mental things she had to overcome as well. She did not believe she was this hero that everyone was building her up to be, and I really enjoyed that about her as a character. So if you're going into this thinking she'll be a Mary Sue, I completely don't think that at all. She was absolutely amazing, and I love stories like that. Darian, Darian I absolutely loved, but he made me feel a lot of emotions and my heart broke for him a lot of the time. He had a very interesting storyline which completely came out of nowhere for me. I did not think it would go that way, and it was very interesting for me as a reader to try and battle that back and forth of what happens to Darian. And Kale, I will admit, I thought he would be a love interest to Tori, but he wasn't, and he has his own story which again is, you completely understand why he does everything he does, but at the same time you kind of are just like, no. Well, that's all I can really say without going into spoilers. There's so many characters within this book, and there's so many plot lines and plot threads. The characters, none of them are black and white, all of them are grey. You can understand almost all of their motives. Anyone you thought was good, there'll be some sort of bad, and vice versa. Plot threads, you learn so much about the world throughout this book because of all the plot threads, and I personally don't think I could handle writing so many plot threads and handle writing them so well and have them so interconnected and have them work in such a beneficial and effective way. And that really comes down to the writer and the writing, and it's absolutely phenomenal to read. So that's all I can really say without spoiling anything. If you haven't read the book, go read it and and then we can come back and discuss all the spoilery stuff I want to discuss. Yeah, so go away, go read the book, go buy the book and read it. Yeah. Okay, my camera battery died just as I said it was the spoiler stuff, so the angle and lighting might have all changed, so yeah. Anyway, if you're back, that means you have either read the book or you're not going to bother and you want to just hear me just talk nonsense for a little bit more about all the characters and things. So let's go. Anyone who has watched any of my reviews will know I very much enjoy a book via characters. So a lot of my reviews actually I talk about characters and character relationships because I really feel that characters are what move the plot along, kind of thing. And this story is no different whatsoever. It's all character choices or things that happen to characters within it that genuinely move the story along for really understandable reasons. As I said, Tori is my favourite gal, and I really enjoyed her progress. She was at a very low with the Chancellor drinking her blood, with her having her escape. A lot of things happen and she is such a strong character because of it. Something I really enjoyed about Tori as a character is, though she was strong and she had so many struggles, she was also a really kind and genuine human being. There were so many points where you could see this. My favourite one being, I think I discussed this in the What We're Talking About, was ding! Yeah, my favourite time you kind of see how genuine she is as a human being and how nice she is and how caring. She genuinely just wants the best in people. Is she just escaped the Chancellor's palace, I guess is what it's called, and she has escaped into the village and she steals 2 loaves of bread, clearly overhearing one woman begging for some to look after her family, and she, in a very Aladdin-like moment, gives one of the bread to this beggar woman. And she didn't have to do this. This girl has been starved for almost a year, and she, out of the kindness of her heart, gives this woman some bread to look after her family. And it was in that moment I realised how much, yes, I knew she was a strong character, but she was such a genuine human being as well for having magic powers. But I really was backing Tori from that moment on 100%. There's so many small moments like that all the way through that make her really humane. Like when they get to Watchtower and she sees Ren praying for the first time and she joins him, she prays for old Willie and Darian. She just prays for their safety and for them to return. And it's just small moments like that you genuinely are like, this is such an awesome character. Like, she's so much is happening around her and she's quite humble and she's very humane, and I really enjoy that about her. Okay, I need to get this Darian stuff off my back right now. Darian was such a good, strong person at the very beginning of the book, and then he turns and becomes a morphe. She's double checking what they are called. I'm just going to call it Morphe. I don't know if that's actually what it's called, but it's like they morph. He becomes one of them for the Chancellor. And like him and Valerie, I like them together, but I really was hoping him and Tori. But now he's one of these and he's so turned his back against what his morals were at the very beginning of the book. And I just don't know where I stand. Like, this guy, he's clearly killed people, which I know changes. That just changes a human being. I've never killed someone, so I wouldn't know that, but like, it would change your person to kill someone, and he's clearly done that as a soldier multiple times now. But he is now just a shell of what he was as a human. He was so strong at the beginning of the book. Like, I've literally written down in my notes that I think he might have been like some sort of like manipulation. He might be getting like the Chancellor's in his brain, and it's just like, I don't know. I know there's a glimmer of hope with Valerie saying he's still in there, and I kind of see her whole thing being like, she has got the magic to cut off her power, and that's how she isn't completely gone as Darian. Like, she's the spy for the northern people. But I don't don't know. A part of me doesn't even know if I want to redeem him. Like, he is, every time I, sounds really sad, but every time I saw his name as a chapter title, I was kind of like, do I want to know more about what I'm reading? Like, I was so enthralled by his character at the beginning, and the more I read about him, the more, yes, he fascinated me as a character. I don't know why I liked him as much as I do, but at the same time he broke my heart so many times as well, and I don't know where I stand with him going into book 2. I want him to have a somewhat happy ending, but I don't know if I want how I want that. I don't know why I want that. There's just, he's one of those characters that's so in the grey area. Like, he's done so much bad and he's acting one way, and then you know what he could be, and then you're in his brain and you know he's human because of, like, Valerie's his like one point of like comfort in this world, and he's always trying to prove himself, and it's just like you understand where he's coming from, and that's just so much why I'm so confused by his character in the best way possible. Like, genuinely in the best way. Ren and Kale, I love their dynamic as brothers. Somewhat. Kale was clearly the better of the two brothers in my opinion. Ren, I think this is a common thing with Ren from some of the people I've talked to, aka Elizabeth. But Ren, you like him to start with, and then we have that first chapter of Kale's, and you learn that Ren's intentions with Tori aren't exactly as innocent or as plain sailing as they appear to be. So yeah, we're at Tori's welcoming feast with Watchtower, and it's Kyle's first like official chapter. Like, you've never had his POV before, which Kale's POV I think was my second favourite to read. Darian, whenever I read it, I was just like, you're just going to make me like want to hug you, but also like cry for you because you're breaking my heart. It was in this you kind of learn his brother's motives behind Tori, and he was very manipulative of the situation. Like, obviously she has more than one power because the story would be boring if she only had the one power. But he's refusing to tell her, and obviously Tori finds out on her own because you would. But it was just one of these, it was very interesting to read that situation from Kale, and it kind of read as almost he was jealous of Tori's feelings towards Ren. And that is until we, you know, learn that Kale has a girlfriend of sorts, which that whole situation as well with like, this prince has captured his girlfriend, Kira, and then but it was actually a Morphe pretend Kira, so the prince could like win this, it's almost like a throne, but it's not a throne. But then he also has this opponent who's trying to kill him, and that whole situation was very, very smart, but so frustrating. Like, the whole choosing ceremony where Sally, the prince, loses on purpose so his opponent has to drink the goblet of poison was absolutely, as soon as that happened, I put the book down and applauded a little bit, because it was like, yes, well done, you out-tricked your opponent. But like, then the whole like thing with he was in cahoots with the Chancellor, and the Chancellor had Kira, and because the Chancellor had Kira, Kale gave up the location of the Watchtower. Like, it was all one of these where you're like, I'm so emotional about this whole situation, because you understand where he's coming from, why he's coming from. That the girl he loves is weak and helpless, and all he's wanting to do this whole time is find her and find these godstones. I don't know if they're right, but he wants to find Kira, and he's found Kira, and now it's one of these, he has to choose between his brother and the love of his life, and clearly he chooses the love of his life. And it was just one of those moments where you're like, I so understand where you're coming from, but oh my god, why? Why? That was my rant on Kale. Okay, so going back to Ren, the guy's training methods, like if I didn't start to dislike him because of the whole like welcome feast Kale situation where Kale was kind of like you're manipulating Tori, like his whole training thing was just bizarre. Like pushing her off a tower and seeing if she will land or not was that's one way to try and make someone fly, I guess. And then like he realizes he has to go to an extreme to get her powers to come out, so he fucking hangs himself. Sorry about the language. Like he recreates the gallows again and he hangs himself. And he's so lucky that Tori actually came to grips with her powers and saved him, because like if she didn't, he would have been screwed so badly. Like every time he like tried to do something training wise, like with the whole knife thing, like she cut her hand, she could have cut her hand off. She makes that point as well. Like every time he had to do training, I was just it frustrated me more and more and more. And something else that really made me really uneasy about Ren, other than the fact that you have no idea what he's thinking, is the whole thing with Lish, or Lishra. I'm just gonna call her Lish, because that's what everyone calls her. With him thinking she was like Tori is this like all-powerful watcher, and he thought Lish was that, so he was training Lish, and then he started courting Lish, and there was some sort of romantic relationship going on, and Lish thought she was going to be his queen. And then he dumps her because Tori's this all-powerful thing. And it was one of these, you're like, no wonder Lish hate Tori. You just kind of threw this girl aside, and then stuff happens with her father and you don't even think about telling her. And it's just small things like that just made Ren just irk me so much as a human. Ugh. So you can see, I'm getting really emotional about these characters because they're real, they're written so realistically. I'm getting so frustratedly emotional with them. Okay, Misha. I'm so glad Misha came into Tori's life, because Misha was this, not a bundle of joy, but she was such a refreshing person to read about. She just wanted the best for Tori, and you could see their friendship bonding and forming, and her whole history with Lish was so heartbreaking. And I really like the fact that at the end, when she was like telling Tori to run away, save herself, that Tori was like, no, I've lost so many people, I need to be with you. And it did turn out pretty good for them both, other than Tori got stabbed. But she's alive, don't worry. But it was just one of those, I'm so glad she has Misha? Yeah. I needed some sort of pronunciation guide, because I have no idea how to pronounce any of these names. So that might be something, maybe. But yeah, I was so happy she had someone like that in her life, and I think Tori needs that as well. I mean, at the Watchtower, she really did find a group of people she bonded well with, which was clearly seen when they went down to the cockfight afterwards, when they got somewhat drunk, other than the teasing. The cockfight was really something else. I mean, I love the fact it was speed versus brawn and Tori won, but it was something else to read about. I wasn't expecting that at all in this book, kind of thing. It was one of those things that just came out of nowhere and you're like, oh, this is happening now. But I mean that in the best way possible. This book has so many like twists and turns that you're not expecting, but then there's things that do happen that you were expecting. Like the whole other world thing where she can't use magic, that was really interesting to learn about. And the Godstones, really, I want to learn some more about them as well. And the whole generals, and it's just something this book does so well is the world building. And there's so much of it that's going on, but it doesn't ever feel forced. But it also doesn't feel like it's someone telling you. You feel like you're in this world with these characters learning about stuff. Like, this world never feels unlived in and just completely made up and fake, which was really, really fascinating and interesting for me to read. And I cannot wait for to read book 2 and get to learn more. And there's so many things I want answered. Oh! oh my god, there's so many things I want answered and I can't wait to like, yes. So guys, that was my review of sorts. I really love this book and I cannot wait to read book 2. If you have read this book, please tell me what you thought about it in the comment section below. Give this video a big thumbs up. Please make sure to check out the author on Wattpad and buy his book that's on Amazon. Please subscribe to my channel and I will be back very soon. Bye!